can go to the next level in faith and we grow every day our life, God grace, God grace, and God grace. Now, because the bitter root in us and keep us from going into the grace, that we can going into His presence and going into the real encountering with God, wow, that's a big loss. Big loss. And we should do everything that we can and make it right, and so we can really go into the grace of God. We can really receive all that God has for us. Grace, 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 grace. Grace covers everything that we need in our lives. Now, unforgiveness, the bitterness in our lives, keep us from going into the grace, going into the presence of God. Wow, what a loss. If we refuse to forgive others, then we can miss the grace of God. Whatever God asks us to do, He also gives us the grace to do it. Unforgiveness is like an acid. It will eat and destroy the peace and joy in our soul. Unforgiveness is like a drinking poison and hoping that other person will die. Unforgiveness causes us to live under the heaviness of guilt and condemnation. Lots of times, we didn't even do anything wrong, but that because the bitterness, unforgiveness in our lives make us feel like something we done wrong. There's no reason for us to be guilt. No reason for us to feel condemnation. But it's just the bitterness in our lives, and it makes us feel like something's wrong. And then we are feeling like something driving us. You ever feel like you've been driven by doing something, and you don't even know why you're feeling that way. You feel like you got to do. You got to do. And then you just cannot sit still, can't relax, can't enjoy life. You just feel like you run from something all the time. There's bitterness in you, unforgiveness that in you cause you to feel like it, that you just, guilty of something. Unforgiveness may cause many physical problems. I have seen so many people, and they got headaches, and they got stomach problem, and they got this nervousness, and you don't have any idea how many people who have unforgiveness have an ulcer, and they got indigestion problems, and a sleeplessness. I know that people really close to me, and good friends and some families, I tell you what, they have problems over and over and over, same problems. And then if they don't have a problem with the headache, then stomach problem. If it's not a stomach, and then something else, it's something else. Constant battle, something's wrong, something. Always got the excuses why they don't feel good. But deep inside, it is not really physical. It could be a depression. It could be oppression. And it could be because you open the door to devil, bombard you, and devil just taking advantage of you, and then cause you to feel like it. You're sick and some, and a lot of people that I do know, they have ulcers, and that's a really result of unforgiveness. These symptoms are not worth the stress they take on our bodies and emotions. When we hold on to the hurt, and we hinder God from healing us. Now, this is the thing. I see that people are battling with the bitterness, but they get busy with something else. They trying to find something else to keep them from really dwelling, thinking about that what other person did to this person. And so what they do, they just ignored and blocking. And they got used to it for so many years, some 20 years and 30 years. You know what? I ministered somebody, few people, over 50 years, they kept this bitterness. And some 60 years. I ministered to somebody who was Vietnam and then a Korean War. And he went to Korea. He was very, very young, and he was over 70 years old. I went to his church, and I ministered to all these people and lay hand on everybody and prophesied. When I got to him, and I mean, think about it. White hair, great hair man. And I knew it. He's more than 70 years old. So I stepped up to him and lay hand on him and started prophesying. He goes, "Stop it. Quit." I'm in front of everybody. Huh? Embarrassed me. And at that moment that I knew I have a choice. If I quit taking these offenses in and get mad at him, then I can never prophesy again. And so I decided I'm not going to open myself to the devil, take advantage of me, be bitter and mad at him. So I just got close to him, held him. "God bless you. I love you." Like that. And then I went on to prophesy more people. After that I finished, he looked at me and he said, "Hey, kid." "Yes, sir." He said, "You okay?" Like that. So I said, "Thank you." And I just smiled and just walked away. 6 months later, I went back to that city, and I was speaking different places. And when I got there, and this man and his wife, and I'm walking towards me, and my heart started beating real fast. I'm going, pity, 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 pity. I'm going, "Oh no, what he's doing here, you know?" And I don't have any bitterness towards him. I forgot about it for 6 months. I didn't even think about that. But he just ran, "Hey, son Fannin," like that. And I thought, wow. And he's a big man, and he was a major. When he retired from the army, he was a major, and everybody called him Major. And so he grabbed me. I was a lot more skinny at that time. And he grabbed me. He go, "You okay, kid?" Like that, you know. And I said, "Well, thank you, sir." And he said, "You know what? You help me that I can be delivered from this bitterness, unforgiveness in my heart for over 50 years. And I hated Koreans. I was in Korean War, and I gave my life for them. But they make me mad. I hated Koreans. And so when I found out that you come to our church, you're Korean, I couldn't stand it, look at you. I was mad even before the meeting. I couldn't look at your face. I didn't want you to touch me because I had this bitterness towards Koreans. But after I did what I did, and I realized how bad that I have this hurt and bitterness, and because of your sweet personality, you don't walk away and ignore me, but because you just loving me and being a little girl to me, and I was able to open my heart to examine myself, and I couldn't hurt one more Korean they didn't deserve. Like you didn't deserve it. And I want to let go of the bitterness that I have towards Koreans. How long did you have that? He said, over 50 years, almost 55 years, he said. Wow. And every time that you met Korean girl or man, you was mad. Yeah, I just walk away. I didn't have anything to do with them. But if I didn't see Koreans, I was fine. I lived my life. But when I see Korean, then I had things inside of me just stir me up, and I just wanted to hit them. And when you got close to me, that I have this fist, I almost hit you. And I realized it is now time for me to let go. And so finally I did. Now I heard about you coming to town. I couldn't wait. So I came here to give you a big hug. And I want you to know, thank you so much that you are the one that God used to help me, that I can be delivered from that unforgiveness. Too long, people carrying this to hurt. And they say that it's okay as long as that. Can you imagine if he got to see Koreans every day? It would have been probably he did something to deal with, and so it can be overcome faster. But once in a while, and so he go on for his life and get busy with his life, and then just once in a while, when Koreans show up, and then he get all stirred up, and then get mad and blow up, and then just ignore it again and go on, and ignore it again and go on, and then finally he got caught in front of everybody. Whole congregation saw it, the real problem he's gotten. And then God wanted to heal him. So actually God exposed it, what was in him, so he can be healed, be delivered. This symptoms that just not worth it. When we hold on to the hurts, we hinder God from healing us. We want God to heal us. We want God to reveal every root cause. Everything has been hidden inside of us. God wants to bring it out, show us. And so we can look it on a table and say, oh God, this is what I see. I don't want it. I want to be healed. God is faithful to do all that. We lose our sweet communion with the Lord Jesus because our thoughts are occupied with offender and offenses inflicted on us. We can be free from all the torment, but there is a price to pay. How many times that when you are hurt by someone and when you're having this unforgiveness, you don't want to forgive, and when you try to do something else, like you try to read, and then that person's face coming on. And when you're with someone, when you're talking with someone else, but just the subject come up about their name, and it just, all of a sudden, that person sitting right before me, that person I don't like. Offenders that we have, sometimes we're focusing on them more than in a life that we must to go on. And so that we need to recognize something's there to tormenting us, keep us from having total peace. Then, okay, God, what is it? I'm going to look at it. I'm going to get rid of it. How are we going to get rid of it? We have to die to that problems, and we have to pay the price. Luke chapter 9, verse 23. Then he said to them all, if anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Now, the reason that we're keeping this bitterness to our hearts and very hard for us forgiving, because we're keeping to, not forgiving, and it's the self is controlling. And we have to deny what self want. We have to let it go of what self want. Instead, what God want. Every situation we need to evaluate. What would Jesus do in this circumstance? What would Jesus do in my life right now?